I have Mustafa Sherif as my guest today. He is the founder and the host of the international smart city podcast Urbanistica. He is also working as an urban planner with focus on social sustainability at AFRY in Stockholm, Sweden. He is a content researcher and co-coach at Tedx Stockholm team. He is also part of Placemaking Europe team due to his passion for creating better cities for and with people. In this episode, he shared his story and lessons learned so far in a way that speaks for itself about his interest in storytelling as a means of spreading ideas and inspiring people. Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. I am Asban Sari, the founder of the organization Peacemakers Pakistani, and I am bringing you the stories of placemakers, artists, and professionals from around the globe about how they created an impact and made change happen. You are listening to the Making It Happen show. Thank you for joining in. Enjoy the episode.
Hello,
Hello,
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Finally, nice to talk to you, Asba.
Same here. So, how are you and how's it going?
Well, I'm good, thank you so much. I'm good and it's going really good. We're still here at home, working from home and yeah, I feel good, my family's good, so there's no more things to complain on. So I'm happy and I'm happy to talk to you. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just trying to go through these interviews and learning from people directly and trying to make some trying to have some energy to go out and do some work because having so many ideas and not the opportunity to implement them, it's somehow stressful.
I understand. I understand. By the way, you're doing a really good job with these interviews, and also it's really good that you're listening to expert and people around on this planet. So I think you're gaining a lot. And about ideas to implement, yeah, sometimes it's the condition are not really makes you able to do something.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the questions, right?
Sure.
Yep. Okay, so tell me, how did you find your passion for public spaces and how did it connect with the placemaking?
Well, my passion to public spaces, the thing is that originally I'm from Iraq, Baghdad, and there we had so many wars and terrorism and so on. So we were forced to move from one city to another city. And this is when I was a child and even teenager. And in every city, I was noticing, okay, this aspect of this city is cool, this aspect is not. And I was reflecting and observing and also asking my family why we feel happy here and why not in that city. So it follows with me when I grew up, and then I started to study, and then I'd be like, okay, I want to do something related to cities. At the same time, I am in love with people, talking to people, be with people, do something together with people. So yeah, so I started to study traffic engineering, which related to the city, but then I didn't really like it. And then I started to study architecture. And also I didn't really like it so much. It was focusing on one beautiful object. Then I finally did something that I fall in love with, which is the city planning, like the general urban planning. And within this field, I saw that this public space is the heart of a city. And there where I can combine the two things I love, that people and also cities as a like hardware. So they came together, and I did a master in urban planning and design. Then I started to work in urban planning. And the thing with placemaking, if I go back in time, I start to reflect that when we read books and they start to work, I just think it makes no sense that a group of people, experts, urban planners, architects, just decide about an area, future of an area, and kind of make a scenario for how people will live. Of course, we are the expert when it comes to this, and this is our job to be creative and create future. At the same time, I really didn't believe in that we force somehow people to be part of the story. And in this kind of work, sometimes it is used, you talk to zero people at the same time, you make something to people. So I start to question this, and okay, how can I make it better? How can I do it in another way to involve more people, to make them part of the story? So I found the placemaking movement, and I remember when I did the Urbanistica podcast, my own podcast with the legend Fred Kent and so on. It's like an open new doors for me. And from that time, I decided to be, okay, I will be an active leader within placemaking movement, and also try to integrate all these open source tools within the urban planning job that we do in everyday life. So at least we do a balance. Expert, the urban planners, architects, traffic planners, but also the people who are actually the expert when it comes to their own life and the city. So that's how I find my passion, combining things together and listening actually to Fred Kent, which opened like the whole new world for me.
Awesome. Yeah. Fred is awesome.
Yeah.
I just got in touch with him through an email, and it was completely a different world. The way he connects with people, and the way he appreciates and encourages you to share your opinion and to engage people along the process. That's awesome. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, tell me, where did the idea of Urbanistica podcast came from, and how has been the experience so far?
Well, the experience is wonderful. I guess it's almost the same experience as you do now. It's like you talk to people, you listen to them. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, but at the same time, it's really worth to do it. The idea comes from when I graduated. You know, when we're students during the university, we have so much time. We just review project, look at project, watching documentaries, read books. We have so much time to get inspiration from all around the world. When I graduate, you start to get a job, full-time job, you have a family, you have other things. It's kind of like the life changes a bit, and it's not the same amount of time you have in order to get inspired. And I was actually sad about this. I really miss this, the moment when you explore and look at the project and on the internet and so on. So I'd be like, okay, I shouldn't be so sad, and I will, instead of complain and cry, I can be the change that I want to see on this planet. And so I started the podcast. Actually, it's not that because there is no podcast. There are many podcasts within urban planning, and I'm very happy that they exist and doing content. At the same time, I just missed the part of we talk to people, not only the experts. And there was a kind of lack for me to listen to the people. Of course, I respect the expert, but at the same time, as I mentioned, we need people as well. That's how we learn and develop ourselves as experts. So I started the podcast, and I started with my colleagues actually. And also I remember first episode I had one listener, which was my dad, and now it's growing up very fast, and I'm very happy, and I'm so grateful that people listen to it and find it very inspiring. So this is how podcast story started. Urbanistica is that I think we need more inspiration, and expert and people who work with city development deserve this inspiration from different people on this planet, and not only from just one group of people.
Yes. And listening to people and then trying to connect the information, it's very engaging, and it's very motivational as well. Like, we all feel the same way. We are connected. Okay, so what is the best lesson you have learned till now, and anything that shifted your mindset somehow?
Two things. First thing is when I was talking to Young Gale. By the way, Young Gale is the one who inspired me to be an urban planner, and like he is my legend. I'm in love with what he say, what he do, what he did. So shout out to Young Gale. And when I did the interview with him, it was a dream, of course. And he told, because in my podcast, I also talk about smart city. And I asked him, what is a smart city? And there was a very strong message from him. And he told me, well, when we say smart city and find this all smart solution, we need to be careful. Are these solutions really applicable in poor countries? or just in very fancy cities with so much money. If these solutions are not really applicable on these countries, then it's not really sustainable and smart. So we need to really think before we say this is a very smart home or very smart city solution, because then it's unfair, and this is not a really sustainable city if we cannot scale it up. This is one message. The second message was that it's a bit scared that we force people to be a part of a story, that we assume their lives. So this one opened my mind and made me really rethink about every single line I draw as an urban planner.
Great. So, yeah, this one is actually inspiring very much. Okay, so why do you want to inspire people to create, develop better cities for people? How do you identify a city designed for its people?
Well, why I don't want to inspire, because I believe all of people around deserve to get inspired, and maybe sometimes they don't have really time or resources to look for this inspiration. So I feel like one of my missions that I will do my best to inspire all the people working with city development, urban planners, architects, community managers, many people, musicians, and so on. So I think they deserve, and this inspiration will help them to create more livable and smart cities, like in real livable cities. So this is just one of my contribution to the people, to my society. And the next question, what was it? The other part of the question?
It was how do you identify a city designed for its people?
Well, cities designed for people, it says itself. If you ask a kid, what does it mean? So it's okay, there are people involved in city design. I think it's very basic. It's about having people on the table, and we together create the design of the future. Again, many people question, oh, but wait, we are the expert. Come on, people. We went to education. We work hard, and we are professionals. I say yes, of course, but at the same time, people are also expert in their own cities, on their own areas. I'm in the office, and so it's very worth it to have them, and they can contribute to our solution that will goes back to them. So design and people, it says itself.
Okay. What are the key practices of an urban planner focused on social sustainability?
Well, it's very big question, and I love this question. I love debating on this question because it's very broad, and I think this is the beauty of this social sustainability aspect. And I believe, again, it's about thinking what's the purpose of this development. Is it to enhance like the safety or the ecological aspect, or I don't know. So it's about the goal of the project, and then also how can we make it better by involving people in this goal. And because again, they are the expert and they know more stuff about the area than what we know. And I think this is the best practice, is to try always to think, what is the purpose of this project? How can we do it together with people who are living close to this or in this area?
All right. Okay, so this is my favorite question. You have the experience of being in 3 different countries, Iraq, Sweden, and Italy. How has it been, and what did you learn from the exposure, and how it created a difference for you?
Well, it's created a big difference. This is like Mustafa is, how to say, is a big part of me, is because I was born and raised up in Iraq. Then I moved to Sweden, and then I went to study in Italy, in Milano, and then I come back here. The thing from these 3 cities, it's like what I call it the dream city. Like if we combine them 3 together, from Baghdad is the people. We are many people, and if it's rain in Baghdad, the water will not fall down to the street, because it will fall down on people, because there are so many people, and it's always livable there. So like no matter what time. So people is one element that I love. And I love to have it on the cities that I'm planning. The second part is in Milano. When I went there, I see they invest a lot in art and culture, fashion week, movies, opera. I see this is create another type of city, much more livable. It's a magical city. So I see a lot of paintings, statues. It's a very beautiful, and the people there put really big money on this, and this create a very beautiful city. And then in Sweden, lovely Sweden, in Stockholm, I see the green and the water. It's a very big harmony between these. I think they keep a good balance between them. So these four elements, or let's say three elements from three cities, from Iraq, Baghdad, I love people. And from Milano is the art and culture. And from Sweden is the nature. So now when every time I plan, I see, okay, where is my magical concept? Let's see how can we do it here. So give space to art and culture, give space to people, give space to nature. This is how I am affected by these cities, and I'm very grateful to that I had the chance to be on these three different cities.
Wow, I just love how you have just extracted it into three points. Lovely, I love that.
It's all. I also was thinking, like I'd be like, why I'm in love with these three cities, and again, it's also what you do now with your interviews. It's about listening and reflecting. It's the same was for me. Like I went there, okay, I observed, I experienced, and so on. Then I'd be like, okay, wait, but why? And then I find out, okay, these three elements that I'm in love with.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, why do you advocate for child-friendly cities in particular? What is your story behind it?
It's a big story. It's a kind of sad story as well, but or maybe it's not. Anyway, but when I was kid and in Baghdad, my mom sent me to buy bread because we had guests, and I just went to cross the street in order to get to the grocery and buy the bread. And there I had a car accident, and this has affected me so much. And I was literally scared of opening the door and going out to the street. Like I didn't want to be there anymore. It's like for me, there is no city, it's only home. This affected how I experience city, make friendships, go to school, and so on. So I left that story. But when I start to grow up, moving from one city to another city, and start to educate myself, study master, I realized that this topic affected me so much. Every time I read something or I walk, I see a child on the street, I'll be like, oh no, there will be a car accident. There isn't a car accident, but it's like a kind of, what do you call it, phobia, something like this. I make this scenario that I had. So I decided now when I graduated and I saw what different fields on urban planning, I said to myself, okay, I will never love that any kids on this planet will experience what I did. And I told myself this is one of my mission is to fight for children's right in our cities.
Great. This is interesting because I have a story as well. And yeah, this is I have an accidental story as well connected to why I'm passionate about public spaces and bringing out the best potential in them. We'll share.
Can you
Yeah,
share with us this story?
yeah,
Feel
sure.
free to share.
Basically, I have experienced that from childhood till my teenage, we suddenly shifted from not going out to public spaces because we didn't have time due to studies and also because of the financial pressures that we were so busy in the economy, in stabilizing our economies, that we just stopped going out for leisure time, for picnics, etc. So this was first story. This was my first exposure because I was bounded to home. Secondly, being a girl, I was bounded to home. Thirdly, I had an accident as well, which made me have the phobia as well, which I call agoraphobia. I did my thesis on that, through which I realized that I am scared of going outside in public spaces. It had great impact on me. So during my thesis, I learned how to utilize how to make changes that can help in increasing the economy, how can I get rid of my phobia, and how public spaces contributes to everything that I want to get rid of. So yeah, this
Yeah,
is the answer.
I think you did a really interesting thing that you actually studied this and did the thesis, and it's not only me and you experience. I guess many the numbers are there as well. Many kids experience this, and I think it's just sad that it's happening in our city, and kids deserve something more beautiful than a car accident or something else. So that's why I really focus on this, like really focus on this aspect. I also work with now. I chose the company that allow me to or specialize on this kind of project, which is that I can really deliver and do what I want to.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I became the mental health advocate as well. Because
Of course.
nature helps with the anxiety and depression as well. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah. Share a little bit about your passion for storytelling, as it is a unique skill that you're offering to placemaking field.
Well, my passion to storytelling is that I'm not sure from where did I get this, but to be honest, I like how my grandma were telling us stories when we were sleeping and so on. It's very lovely. And when I grew up, I see there is a lack of adults telling a beautiful story of everything, you know. So I decided also to not start complaining, say, "Oh, this is not a good storytelling." I started to also to try to change it somehow. At least I will not be a bad storyteller. So I learn, I listen to a lot of TED Talks, Google a lot how to be a good storyteller, and also joined at Tedx Stockholm and coaching people, doing content researching about how you will be good in telling a story. Why you should raise up your voice or why you should talk very slowly. So there are different skills. And what I love to contribute to the great placemakers is that how can you be a good storyteller? Because I know all of us are really passionate, really great placemakers. And imagine if we can tell stories about our placemaking project, how beautiful it will be, how much the world will listen to us and will say, I want placemaker, I want placemaking project, just come to my city, do it. So I think communication and storytelling is the key. Actually, you know, many people can sell really, sorry for this word, shitty products. It's just because they are good in talking and selling and create a story. Imagine we placemakers, we do a great service and products. Imagine how easy it will be when we sell it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's actually marketing is about storytelling. How do you sell your product? Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, how important is effective communication for the projects we do and even leadership in any field? You have mentioned it as a big part of your passion.
Yeah, I think it's because of my background. You know, when I'm from a country with many wars, and I moved to different countries, and politics was big part of our daily life. So that's from being a child to growing up, questioning what is leadership, what is a good leader, who is a good leader, why. So and then now I'm in Sweden and I start to work in companies. I am part of international networks. And you know, you see the position team leader, section leader, head of something, or head of director. I think sometimes it's funny because these are big names and people behind it are not really, I don't experience that this name really fitting them. And sometimes I question why, and the why is because of the communication. How can I follow a leader who is not really communicating with me? Where are we heading? What is our goals? How can we be a strong team? And so on. So I believe communication is a very strong part. And if I relate it and link it to urban planning and development, many misunderstanding happening because of lack of communication from the city, municipality, or authorities. They go for developing an area, they miss the communication with people. After a while, people get angry why you're doing this, and the authorities get angry, and then it's a big fight. The key for this was because they missed the communication. Imagine if you communicate, tell people, tell your team players, where are we now? Why are we heading to this direction? What are our values that we believe in? So leadership is very important for me. And I think part of placemaking is why I joined placemaking is every single placemaker is a real leader. We know with the direction, we know where we want to take our city, we know how to involve people. So I think it's a big blessing that placemaking exists and we have so many leaders. And you have interviewed so many, and there are so many to interview. Every single one of them is a leader because we know the values, good communication, and we listen. They listen. I say we now. The leaders listen to people and really listen. Not listen because they have to listen, no, but listen and do what people told them.
Yeah.
So I think storytelling leadership is key elements to make change.
Yes, you put it well. Okay. Would you like to share an insight to your thesis, Inside Out? The name had made me really curious.
You took me back to my studies. Well, you told me now you did your thesis about that aspect and of social sustainability as well and economy. For me, I remember in the beginning of this episode, I told you, for me, it makes no sense that group of people decide the future of an area without involving the users of an area. So in my thesis, I explore and I created like a kind of method. How can we make people part of urban planning and development? At the same time, their story will be a practical and concrete design and planning element. So it's not only stories. Why I name it Inside Out, it's because the stories inside the people should go out to us planners. So this area has stories. These stories shouldn't stay there. They should go out to us and then we mirror it on the plan. So for me, it was very important. Like the aim of this thesis is to talk to people, bring their story and transform these stories to more practical design elements. So urban planners can really use it and transform it to like a plan or urban design. And I remember like I did so many interviews with so many people, kids, adults, young girls, old people. And it was so interesting to do that kind of collecting data. And the part later to make a categories of these data stories and then to put them on the plan. I'm still in love with this thesis. And I'm so happy that I'm able, and not in all my projects now, but in some of them, to do the same, is to listen to people's stories and then to transform them to urban planning and design elements.
So when was it you did your thesis?
It was 2018, I think, 3 years ago when I graduated. And it was also cool because I was in Milan and people here in Stockholm, my university, they already started the thesis, but I was there and traveling and so on. So I like quickly came back to Stockholm and like worked 24 hours, 24/7. And then in the end, it was a good thesis. I'm very happy about it, and I'm proud also.
That's interesting because I graduated in 2018 as well.
Oh, nice. I think there's something special with that year, like everyone, I do podcasts, you do these interviews.
And we both did our thesis based on public spaces and listening to people. We were placemakers back then.
It's like in the DNA. I'm happy. I'm really happy. This is also a gift for us that we should take, like me and you and other people should take care of this, that we study something we like. We did this thesis, and now in the real life we keep doing this, which it's a big responsibility, and we really need to take care of this and be thankful.
Yes, since we had the experience, thus we know that why it creates an impact, right? That's why we are taking it forward. Okay,
Yeah.
so share your opinion about how do we create life in our cities.
Well, you're. It's. I love your questions. Actually, it's. Every question make me to reflect so much, and how do we create life? It's the biggest question I ask in my podcast as well, because it's a tricky question. And what I can tell you now, of course, by in next year I will develop this as well, and by experience I will have another answer, more concrete answer. But so far, I think, again, I try to go back to the origin of things to create life in a city. So what creates life? It's the thing with life, like trees, animals, biodiversity, people. I think these create life, to be honest. So if I will give you two examples. Okay, let's build a city and put it in nowhere and with no people. Is there any life there? There might be, but what if we add it's funny because I think now social media add people. Why if we invite people there? What if we create more biodiversity and life, ecological life, trees growing, bees flying around and so on? Then there is a life. And it's, again, the placemaking, we talk a lot about hardware, software, orgware. Hardware is the city, software people, and the ecology, and orgware is that how you keep these two things in a beautiful harmony and running together. So I think that's how we create life, is that these three elements, put them together, and this is what placemaking stands for.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting. Actually, I was looking forward to this interview mostly because I was sure that you will have the answers to my questions because you have been listening to so many people, and I was sure that you would tell me something good.
Well, to be honest with you, I think this is the absolutely most beautiful thing with our field.
Yeah.
Is there's still so much that we can explore, and we can develop our answers so much. In other fields, things are fixed. They reach the maximum level, so they know, okay, how to do this. In our field, there's so much to explore, there's so much to work on, and I think this is very interesting challenge for us to work with and to contribute to. So I'm happy that I contribute to some kind of answer to you, but I guess you will explore, of course, many interesting answers from your next coming guests.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so tell me about Bjarke Ingels. I saw that you are also inspired by his work.
Well, this guy is creating so much debate on this little planet, and also you're laughing because you're an architect, you know what's going on, and also on Mars soon he's creating a big debate. I know many people question his his style of architecture. It's like these mega buildings without paying so much attention to the social life around it. It's very luxury and so on. My opinion is like this. I think I like creative people because they create this debate. Imagine we do the same thing forever. Then we are not really creative. So there are so many different styles in architecture and planning. I think this guy made a change. He brought something a kind of new to the table of architecture and urban planning and design, made people to reflect, made me reflect about what kind of city I want. So I'm thankful for him because he made me question myself, is this really what I want or not? Why? And I like him. I met him quickly in Stockholm when I was studying. And I think he's inspiring many people because his way of thinking, it's not really traditional way. And I love when people push the boundary and try to rethink stuff. And then it's another debate if what he and his company create, if this is livable or not. Many projects are fantastic. Many project might be not. It's a question of, okay, taking each one, study, observe why, and learn. But in general, I show a lot of respect to him because I think he create a kind of new path also with this smart city thinking, sustainable thinking, going to Mars, to the new planet, and create a new cities there. it's a brave thinking, and I like when people think brave. Then it's another discussion: is it good or bad, and why? And yeah,
Yeah, I was actually excited to discuss about this because when I discovered him and his work, it was completely outside of the box. And the way he was telling his story, I just saw his illustration where he was expressing his ideas in one canvas. It was awesome. I was like, wow. It, I saw the
yeah, it's
possibilities, So it
yeah,
was,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. If you, I guess many people of us watch the documentary Abstract. I think all architecture students do that now. And also one part of what makes people talk about him is his storytelling. The way he illustrates things, or his team illustrates things, and the way of thinking. And I think we need the different mindsets in our city in order that because when we have different mindsets and styles, then we can collect what is the good from each one. Instead of, imagine we have just one style and it's bad, then I think cities, suffering.
Yes. Okay, so what's more coming from you and your platform? What are your further plans or any new creative ideas that you're working on?
Interesting question again. What's coming from my platform? I will keep doing what I started to do 1 year ago. I believe that I need to build this personal brand, and I need to focus on what I do, bring more stories to people. Now I did this collaboration with Placemaking Europe to talk with placemakers, to bring up stories from placemaking. I'm very happy about it. I'm thankful. And for the future, I want to yes, doing this podcast, but also try to engage the community, like how me and you talk now, but let's say with 5 or 10 other people. So something a bit like how is it done now in Clubhouse? Something like this is that to bring more people to the table and talk, not only me and some other person or two other persons. So hopefully soon in the future I will be able to create this. But so far my focus is on Urbanistica podcast, bring more stories and make it more like build listeners or a base to the next step.
That's inspiring. I love that idea. Good luck with
Thank you so
that.
much. Thank
Okay,
you so
so
much. And I want to tell that you're doing also beautiful work. I'm so happy to listen to people that you interview because they're really inspiring. And I know it's tough, many working hours behind this preparation. You book the guest, questions, discussion, but I think you're contributing, you're inspiring. So I would love to encourage you to keep doing this, even if it's too much of work.
thank you so much, Mustafa. It really this encouragement means a lot to me. And yes, I'll keep this going. Okay, so let's move on to the wrap-up questions. What drives you and what keeps you focused on public spaces?
To be honest, I didn't really prepare for this question. I was thinking to leave it like this, so I get this deep answer at the moment. What drives me is to make change in our cities and make them more human friendly. And what drives me is when I see a family happy in a city. We know they're smiling, they're walking. When I see a parent not holding their children's hands in walking in the street, this makes me happy. This drives me say, okay, this is working, let's keep doing this. So I believe that people deserve a better cities, people deserve happiness, and we as an urban planner have a big part of making this real, like giving more happiness to people. So this drives me, making people happy, making people come together, making kids really playing and feel free in being in their cities. And this is driving me, and it's making change in my life and people's life.
Yes, keep doing that. Okay, so
I promise I will do that.
okay, and what was your proudest moment of this work life?
The which movement?
Proudest moment.
Proudest moment. Many actually. The thing is, I am trying to do every moment I do or I experience, I should be proud of, because I think we have a gift. We got this life, and we should make it a beautiful story in the end of it. So every moment is count, and every day count. I like this. I now maybe I want to share this quote. It's like, don't count days, make every day count, something like this. And many moments, one of the moment is when I became, to be honest, when I became a placemaking leader. This was I was very happy at that moment when they told me, oh, Mustafa, you're a placemaking Europe leader. This is a very big thing for me, and I'm very proud, because it means something for me, and also for the placemaking, that okay, Mustafa is joining, he's a leader. And the other moment is when I talked to young Gail, and when I told him that, you're my hero, you made me become an urban planner, he told me, I'm very proud as an old man to see a young kid like you. He didn't say kid, but a young person like you doing or passionate about urban planning. So this is in my head, this voice is in my head every time when I want a boost or like to feel happy and very proud. I just played in my head, these like 10 minutes, 10 seconds of young Gail telling me, you're cool, Mustafa. This is happiness. So I'm proud of many moments, but these are the absolutely two moments that I'm very proud of.
Great. Your proud moments made me happy as well. Okay, so what were your any hardest moment of your work life?
Hardest.
Yeah.
It's, to be honest, work is hard. It's every minute of it. It's hard, and urban planning is not something easy, or even for the listeners. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe people think urban planning is cool. Like now listening to us, we are laughing and smiling. There's so much tough work behind the scenes, But I think this is the beauty. There's no point if life is super easy, and I like challenges. I like tough, doing hard works, and I think we trained on this when we were studying in universities. Like never sleeping, delivering, working hard, reading, doing critics and review project. I think we really trained to hard work, and in real life now, when I say hard work, it doesn't mean that oh, I hate this. It's a very hard, it's tough job and so on. No, I don't think so. I don't like when it's easy. I like when it's hard work. We need to think. We need to challenge ourselves. And the beauty thing is we get paid to be creative. I think this is very interesting that people pay us to be creative, I think it's a gift. So from the job, the toughest moment is to, when I go talk to kids and explain to them that what we do now, you will not see the direct effect on the site. It will take time. When I look in their eyes, and I see they're expecting something to happen directly next hour after lunch. And I think this moment is very hard for me. Like it's break my heart, and I see that we have this bureaucracy that things gonna take ages, years. And sometime I look at the children's eyes and I see they're expecting something to happen like next hour. Even if I explain to them, even if we play together the city game or we did things together, they know that cities takes so much time to grow up and to things to happen. But at the same time, they want something to happen, So I think this is tough moment for me, like to keep my feelings. Otherwise, I like when things are challenging and tough and hard, because I think why they are tough, because nobody could do them. And imagine if I can do them and bring the impact.
Yeah, you were meant to be a leader, basically.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. I hope so. I'm learning from people you interview, from other people around. I'm learning. I think leadership is it's kind of skills you learn as well. So I'm also listening and learning, and hopefully in the future I will be a good leader. Now I want to be a leader for myself and maybe my family first.
Great. Okay, tell me your favorite placemaking mantra or any quote.
I will be honest, I don't have a placemaking. I don't know if this, I like Nike. It's like, just do it. I like this. I'm in love with it. And it's not only placemaking. I think for placemaking, yes, it can be applicable, but also in life, I like just do it things. You don't need to spend 10 years on thinking about one project. And I think it's just do it. Go do a pilot and see if it's work, and error, then fix it, and so on. I think it's also somehow connected to placemaking about just do it, don't wait so much.
Yes, Guillermo said the same. It was similar to this. That just go out and do it and learn through the process. Okay, so what is your opinion about Pakistan or placemaking in Pakistan?
Well, you know my opinion, but it's always good to tell it, to tell to the audience. I'm so happy when I was reading on LinkedIn that this is started, because I know how much it's tough for the countries, because I'm from Iraq and we are almost close, we are almost neighbors. I know it there. It's very tough to start this kind of processes, and I'm very happy, very proud, and of myself being part of this. That you are part of this, you as a female, because this means a lot. This means you took our cities and cities in Pakistan to so many steps further, because it's one thing that you start a placemaking, but as a big thing that it's a female doing it, and it's a big message that you're delivering to all the females, all little girls, big girls, adults, that it is possible for a female to make a change within urban planning. I know before in history, males were dominating and making plans and so on. And maybe that's why our cities are not all of them functioning or part of them functioning. Again, I'm always for the diversity, and I'm so happy to see you doing this. And I think it's a big challenge. It's you put yourself in a big thing, which is great, because it means that you're thinking and dreaming big. My message to you is that you're taking responsibility, be careful, listen to people, and just keep doing this, enjoy every moment, because this will change not only Pakistan, but also the neighbors around it. And I'm truly believe in this, because it's coming from your heart. You did the change. You want to make a big change. So I'm sure you will do it.
Thank you, Mustafa, for your kind words. It means a lot to me. Okay, lastly, any message for global leaders out there, as many young placemakers and professionals are joining in?
It's a focus on placemaking, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I will. I think my messages are almost the thing that we talked about today in this episode. First thing is, I think being a placemaker is a gift. It's a big responsibility. It's a magic. We should really take care of this passion and this love. We shouldn't waste it. And maybe not all of people on this planet are really willing or fall in love with placemaking. So I think we need to be careful with inviting people to placemaking. We should invite them, but not force them, Again, it's about storytelling. It's about how do we tell a beautiful story about placemaking so people can say, oh, wow, that's amazing. I want to be part of this. Nobody on this planet wants to be part of placemaking if you just go, hey, yes, placemaking is the answer to everything. No one will believe in placemaking. But if we as a leaders, placemakers, seniors, juniors, if we tell a beautiful story about how place is really transformed by this movement, then people will love to be part of this, and then our cities will change. So this is one is that we should take care of this gift that we have, and also tell a beautiful story about it to invite people to it. The second is about the leadership. This is very important question and aspect that we need to think about. Every placemaker is a leader, and I would love to ask everyone listening or watching this episode that how can you be a leader in your position or in your work, in your family? How can you be a real leader? for me, I don't know exactly what is a real leader. I explore it, and I would love to ask you also to explore what is a real leader, because I think cities are suffering. Or maybe I'm too much of a drama now. Cities are not really feeling good, or part of the cities not feeling good, because there was a lack of leadership that really wanted to make a change in these cities. And I think it's our time, especially for Placemaker, especially now you mentioned the juniors that joining. I think we had a lot of great studies in universities. We have YouTube, we have podcast. We still have so much time to learn, and I think one of our responsibility is to do the change that we want to see on this planet. So me listening to my podcast during interviews is not enough. Reading books is not enough. Watching YouTube, TED Talks, all of it not enough. It's count when I do the action on site, when I really transform all this learning to action, then it counts. That's why I told you I'm very proud and happy to see you, because yeah, you were listening to Fred Kent, you were reading, but now you made the change. You established this, and you will take it to the next level. So these are my messages. Take care of placemaking, learn storytelling, and also be a leader and question what is a good leadership.
Awesome. It was such a good message. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you for this episode. It was amazing It was an amazing experience talking to you. I loved it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your opportunity, that you gave me this platform to share my stories. I hope I was not annoying to the listeners or the audience, and hopefully talk to you soon. And I wish you all the good luck. And yeah, thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too.